Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Today is June 4th, 2025. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies and tips, share techniques and success stories with our distribution partners. We call our distribution partners either grant coordinators or resellers, means the same thing. There's no cost to be a grant coordinator slash reseller, not even a contract to sign, and I'll show you how to get plugged in if you need to be. But I feel like that where we're at now is as a model, as a business model, in terms of what you and I are doing together, we're at a really good point. We have a solution, you and us, we have a solution to the problem that most entrepreneurs have. And the problem that most entrepreneurs or small business owners have is they need money. They need money to either start or grow their business. So that's the problem. So when you and I can provide them a solution, we can fix their problem and you're able to monetize that. You're able to be paid for solving other people's problems. And in fact, that's essentially at the core of entrepreneurialism, right? Entrepreneurs solve other people's problems by offering a good or a service, and they can make a lot of money by helping people's problems. So, with that being said, let's start with our basic rule, and we cover that each morning. The number one rule for getting money to start or grow a business is you must have a fundable business to get business funding. Common sense, I don't know anyone could debate it, but it's not what most entrepreneurs, what most small business owners are thinking. They're just thinking, I need money, get me money. Well, do you have a fundable business? And then it's usually like a deer in the headlights. Either they don't know or they'll spout off yes because they think that's what you want to hear. And if they say yes, then oh, they automatically are to get funding. That's too good to be true. We need to meet the underwriting criteria. If you've ever bought a house, what's the key to getting a mortgage? Is it magic? No, it's meeting the underwriting criteria. That's the way that loans work. There's underwriting, and if you meet that criteria, you get approved. You have to get approved. It's not that they're going to discriminate on race or gender or a political affiliation. If you meet the underwriting criteria, it's an approval. Well, most of these folks don't have fundable businesses, so that's their problem. But the solution you and I can provide is a fundable, or what we now call an express shelf corp, because it meets those credibility factors. With the grant that we rolled out June 1st, just a couple days ago, we first covered it on Monday, June 2nd's Zoom, is the grant has been amended. So now it covers the cost of the grant up front rather than before where they had to pay for the Shelf Corp and get a reimbursement. So many of you are just opening up the floodgates. Many of you are enrolling 5 to 10 clients a day consistently because who wouldn't want to enroll? If they've got a problem, and as long as you're competent in explaining how we can solve their problem, you should be helping a lot of people and you should be making a lot of money. So the business model's in a really good place. Now we need to step back and focus on you as a reseller, as a grant coordinator. Are you set up properly? Are you in good position? So, with that, we're going to take a deep dive into the reseller marketing program. The reseller marketing program, RMP, which we'll call from this point going forward, is not about us trying to sell you something. We will gladly give you the landing page and these components, but we're going to go through to make sure we all have crystal clear knowledge of how it works. And if you don't have a landing page, because I believe it's going to be more successful to be difficult if you don't have a landing page. So did I say that you can't be successful without it? No. Can you go develop your own? Sure. And I've seen some of what some of you have developed for your own landing pages, and I think they have some flaws, some fundamental flaws. So let's talk about ours and the free landing page that we'll give you, and then we'll get back into the agenda. So a good landing page, and here's my opinion, and you're probably smarter than I am and more knowledgeable and have different opinions. That's fine. So I'm not saying this is fact. These are my and our opinions. Number one, a good landing page needs to be simple so people don't get lost. They normally should not even have to scroll, right? So if your landing page is so long, they got to scroll down, that's bad. Normally, our opinion, general opinion. So you want a landing page that gives them a bit of information and a specific call to action. Now, there's more that the landing page should do afterwards, but let's start with that. So the free landing page that we propose to give to you would look just like this. Now, this is my car. I'm not bragging. I mean, if you want to pay $4,000 a month, you can go buy a car just like it. It's not some mystery how to buy a Lamborghini. Have good credit. We bought it through the business and pay the payment. So, but this is our real car. If you want your car, you can put your car on there. It doesn't really matter. But we needed something for the backdrop, so I thought, hey, what the hell? We'll put my car on there. All right. So, what's the title? Free Shelf Corp. Fast and easy way to qualify for business funding and SBA loans. So these are some carefully chosen words. So people love free, and the Shelf Corp is free with the advanced grant now. Of course, there's the processing fee, but we can come back to that. People want free, people want fast, people want easy. And some people are really tuned into business funding, some specifically SBA loans, so we include both. So that's the title that we use on your free landing page. If you're going to go develop your own landing page, you might want to replicate some of this because I've seen some of the landing pages that some of you've created, and it's not real clear what the title is. Then, now we need to give them some sort of description, but not so much that it distracts them. So here's what we provide. Our affiliated 501c3 nonprofit has received a grant to provide you a free express shelf corporation. In about 7 days, you'll have a fundable business entity, including commercial address, business plan, financials, collateral, etc. Then, if you would like, we can help you use that Shelf Corp for business funding financing with a minimum of $100,000 guaranteed. Please complete the form below to get more information and to participate. So in one paragraph, it tells them who we are, what we're doing, what they would get. Now, is it a deep dive? No. And they're going to get the agreement. So the agreement is the deep dive. But I think that's pretty good language. And again, I'm sure you could come up with something better. But regardless, I think it's pretty good. It's good enough. So if you don't have a landing page, I think you're missing out. If you want a free landing page from us, we'll tell you how. If you want to develop your own, I think this is pretty good content. Now, what Carlos is putting in the chat and the Q&A, which is a great point. This is kind of what you would say to people as well, right? This is kind of the introduction, and then this is a description. So the wording on here should be enough to get a person to move forward. I'm not saying to sign up, but it should be enough to get them to move forward. And the call to action is we want them to fill out your landing page form. Because after that, then of course they go into the drip marketing, which is not the point right now. So it's up to you. I mean, you all are successful and you all, many of you make a lot more money than I do. So I need to be learning from you. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to solve someone's problem. We've covered that. And you need to have some tools and resources to be successful. And I believe a landing page is one of those that it'll be more difficult, not impossible, but more difficult. So recommend having a landing page. This is the landing page we'll give you. Let's get back to the content. So we're taking a deep dive. So the landing page is part of the RMP, Reseller Marketing Program. We're called RMP from now on, just to save breath. So how do you get an RMP? You're going to text us and we'll send you the link. And I'll give you the link. It's all the text line. That's all at the bottom here. So that way we know that you want one. Now, when you get the RMP packet, it is going to state that there's a $999 refundable deposit due at the time of signing. And then it also says we'll refund that back after you perform. However, some of you either aren't willing to put 1,000 into your business, and some of you don't have 1,000. So we didn't want to keep anyone from being able to participate. So we have a way to waive that. So that's next. So if you want to waive it, you still need to start by signing up. And then, which you'll text us and we'll send you the RMP link so you'll get signed up. And then we have a separate link for the waiver. And the waiver is no great complicated fact. It's just a one pager that says, I should be waived, or I hereby request to be waived from paying the $900.99 refundable deposit. So it's not a big deal. But we'd prefer not to do this, but again, we know some of you don't feel like putting money into your business is a good idea, or you lack the solvency. So here it is. We can work around it with the waiver. So step one, you need to sign up for the RMP. Then you can either pay the refundable deposit or not. If you don't want to pay the refundable deposit, request the waiver and we'll send that over to you. Okay, moving forward. How do I qualify for the waiver? So it's not just, oh, woe is me. I got a freckle on my left nipple. I can't pay for it. No, you would need to get qualified for a waiver, and that would be by enrolling 2 clients in the Express Shelf Corp in the month of June. So essentially, we'll waive the refundable deposit if you can show some proof of life. And again, I know it's real easy for you to look at everything through your eyes, but from our eyes, we have a lot of people that come to us, and anything that's free, they just want free, but they have no intent or sometimes no ability to implement. So you can either pay the refundable deposit, get the landing page and get it back, the deposit back, or we can waive it, but you need to show proof of life that you actually are capable by enrolling at least 2 clients. Now, let's deep dive into what's included in the RMP, because it's much more than just the landing page, but the landing page is, I guess, the most visual component of it. So we're going to create a landing page. It will look like this. It will look like this, but it'll be coded to you. You see these numbers 153600109. That's coded. I forget who that's coded to. Is that might be Ernest's. I'm not sure which one we pulled up here, but the bottom line is it's coded to you, so it feeds into a database, and then everyone that comes through is linked to Ernest or whomever this is. So the landing page is included. Is that all? No. Then we also need to have the drip marketing campaign, because what we know is not all people, again, you're sophisticated. You're smart, but more than being smart. There's a lot of people that's smart that's not very sophisticated. You're sophisticated. So what you know are some basic rules of marketing, right? In general, not everyone will sign up just because you pitch them something, even if it's a free shelf corp. Usually they're going to need more information. So you can either go spend your time and energy giving them more information, or we can feed them into the landing page where they're getting drip marketing, which means reoccurring texts. Now, we primarily use text. We do some emails, but text are typically the most frequently read. So that way we can continue to educate them about the proposition and why they should enroll. We also, in that drip campaign, include a copy of your EContract. I'm going to spend some more time talking about that. So you'll have a link to your EContract if you have someone that's just ready to sign. Great. So we do all the development for you, but also it's integrated into the drip campaign. With the e-contract, so that means, and so again, you don't have to do the RMP. You can sign up to be a reseller / grant coordinator for free. We automatically, you don't have to jump through any hoops, we'll email you an editable version of the flyer, of the comparison sheet, which we talked about yesterday, and the client agreement. So you can go edit your own client agreement if you want. We're going to talk about that a bit more because there's some nuances to that, or we can do all that for you. Again, I think you're very competent to go in and edit a Word document and get it into DocuSign, Adobe, or what have you, but we're happy to do it for you, and we have to do it for you if you're in the RMP because we need part of that drip campaign to prompt them to sign up. Now, let's talk about the e-contract. So The contractual template that we send you in Microsoft Word. And if you're going to handle everything yourself, you'll want to edit that contract, remove all references to us, replace it with your information, and you can change pricing the way that you want. Today's discussion is not about pricing, but let's go into it just a bit. So the free Shelf Corp is free because a grant is covering the 10,000 cost. If all you do is go out and don't build it, let me reword that. If you don't create value and let them know, hey, there's a grant that covers that 10,000 for you so you can have a fundable business, would you like to learn more? When you let them know that there's a grant that's covering 10,000 for them, that's a lot more powerful than than you just pitching some low amount. When I say low amount, what we know is there's a processing fee, which we've covered on prior trainings, that we need to receive to transfer the corporation into the client's name, $499.99. So that's what we need from our side. You can mark it up to whatever you want. If you're using the RMP, when you fill out that RMP packet, it's going to ask you, what do you want to charge your clients? And then we'll put that pricing in for you. So let's say that you wanted to do the average. You want to charge them $999.99 on the front end. So you're making 500 profit on the front end. And of course, you'll make 5 points in the back end. We'll get to that in a moment. So you'll tell us what you want your price to be. You don't have to raise it above the $499, but it's very common to raise it by 500. We have some of you that are raising it a lot more, and that's up to you. But now the bigger the upfront price, the more barrier you're creating. And some people don't have as much money as you, so they may not be able to afford it, or they may not be willing to spend that much. So I think keeping it below 1,000 is what's definitely recommended. I don't think it. I know keeping below 1,000 is recommended. Ideal, frankly, is to keep it at that $499 or just put a small incremental amount, $100. But I know that's your money we're playing with, so you can mark it up as you want. If you're going to increase the price from the $499, as we talked about yesterday, you may want to add an extra deliverable. Not trying to get too complicated, but at the bottom of the client contract states all the things that we promise to do. And we can do that 100% of the time. There's no risk of failure. We will fulfill that contract in 7 days. Around 7 days. If there's a holiday or weekend, maybe it's 8 days. But in about a week, we will absolutely fulfill everything we promise. But if what you're doing is raising the price, let's say that you want to take the price from $499.99 to $999.99. You're adding 500 for your front end. You may want to add an extra deliverable, like you're willing to offer some business coaching or some business consulting, or you would agree to serve on their board of directors. It's up to you, and you don't have to do that. But what that does is if they ever found out that we sell it for the base $499 and you're increasing the price, what you'd want to be able to do is say, yes, but with me, with Corinthian, me, Farah, me, France, whomever you are, you could say, you're also getting an expanded package that includes X, Y, or Z, your add-ons. And those add-ons don't have to cost you money. Dr. Smith, who's one of our distribution partners and active, so she actually has built in a credit sweep on hers. So she's edited she's using RMP, so she's had us edit it. So she's increased her price, and she's also including at that point a free credit sweep. So it's important to understand that you control the pricing and you can add extra value added services to justify the increased price if you want. Also included in the RMP is Backend. So if you want us to pay you 5% of each client's capital raise. So what does that mean? So you have a landing page. You refer them through your landing page. They get their Shelf Corp, and then if we move on to phase 2, which we talked about the 2 phases yesterday. Phase 1 is getting a fundable business. Phase 2 is going to funding. They can do just phase 1 without phase 2. It's rare, but it's possible. But if they're going to use our services to help them have a capital raise, then they agree to pay a 10% performance fee, half of which comes to you, half of which is paid out as an override. So if you have clients that come in and then they become resellers, then you can earn a 5-point override. So then you would be getting a 5-point override, and then the reseller that sold the deal would be getting the other 5 points. So clients pay 10%, we're paying out all 10% to the field. Yesterday we had Kenny that said one of his clients didn't want to pay 10%, said it was too high. Well, if you don't have the client under contract, I think you're out of order, Kenny, or anyone else. I mean, the first step is to get a fundable business. People want to worry about, well, what's my interest rate going to be on my loan? Well, sir, ma'am, do you have a fundable business? No. Then there is no interest rate because there's not going to be a loan, right? We need to focus on first things first. We need to get them a fundable business. Then we can determine where the right source of capital is. Bottom line is, if you want to credit back any or all of your 5 points, you can. So maybe you want to use that as an incentive. Hey, if you sign up today, I'll pay you 1 point or 2 points of your capital raise. How much money are you looking to raise? I want to raise $1 million. Okay, well, I'll give you a $20,000 incentive to sign today. Again, those are more advanced concepts, but the point is you can refund or rebate if you want. We're going to pay you 5% because that's our deal. How do you get the 5%? You need to participate in the RMP. All right, so that's what's included in the RMP. And then here's our basic information, and we'll open it up for questions, comments, concerns. And so the tech support line is really, really important. So earlier we said, hey, do you want the RMP? If so, text us. You need to text the right number, the support line. If you've already signed up for the RMP and say, oh, no, I shouldn't have to pay that, I qualified for a waiver, great. Text us, request the waiver, and we'll send you the waiver. As I shared with you a couple weeks ago, we brought in a new compliance officer. He's a retired, quasi-retired attorney, oil and gas attorney. He wants everything documented, everything documented. So if you want to sign up, you got to sign up. If you want the waiver, you got to request the waiver, and we'll send it to you. Use the text line, and we'll text you the link. If you need to email us, if you need to schedule a call, if you're not a grant coordinator / reseller, but you want to become one, again, doesn't cost anything. You don't have to sign any contracts, and you don't have to use the RMP. So don't think that that's a requirement. It is optional. I'll put it on there. It's optional. Nowhere in here does it say you must get the RMP. You don't have to. And even if you want the RMP, do you have to pay the refundable deposit? No. We've already said that there's a waiver. But regardless, if you're not a grant coordinator reseller, want to become one, 509pacific.org. How do I get a free Shelf Corp? 509pacific.org. Of course, once you're set up as a reseller grant coordinator, you'll either have a landing page or you'll have the editable contract, so you're able to sign people yourself rather than sending them to us. And then our trainings are posted on YouTube. All right, so with that being said, let's dig into the many questions, comments, concerns that you may have. So Lamy asked about interest rate. What's the answer, Lamy? Number one, we're going to role play. So we're going to pretend that Lamy is the client and I'm Lamy. I'm the reseller. Client asks me, what's the interest rate going to be? I'm going to say, I don't know. You're going to get the market rate. But by the way, do you have a fundable business right now? Yes or no? If they do, then they don't need to buy a Shelf Corp, or they don't need to get a free Shelf Corp, right? Shelf Corps are meant to solve someone's problem if they don't have a fundable business. But if they don't have a fundable business, they're way worried about the wrong thing, right? They're worried about what they're going to eat on the beach in the Bahamas when they don't have a plane ticket to get to the Bahamas. You've got to help people get back to reality. First, you need a fundable business. Then we can worry about what's the right type of funding. Then we can get you what the rates are. And if you don't like the interest rates, you don't have to accept it. But you all, as resellers, or me on our side, we don't control the interest rates. The lenders do. But the lenders are going to only offer an interest rate and a loan or financing to clients that are fundable. So first things first, you got to control the client better, Lamy. Corinthian says, good idea. Thank you, Corinthian. Jay asked, does a client have to have good personal credit? No, personal credit's not going to be a barrier. And I'm glad Jay brought that up because a lot of people, if you ask them what's keeping you from getting funding, right? You're smart, you're motivated, you want just insert a number, $1 million. Well, what's keeping you from getting $1 million? Oh, my credit's poor. Or, everyone's got an excuse why their credit's poor, but no one cares. But credit. No, credit's not the barrier. Credit's fluid. We've got a legal team that can help remove negatives, add positive trade lines. No, credit is not going to be the barrier. Credit is not going to be the barrier. The barrier is typically you don't have a fundable business, right? So you've got to help educate people because they're worried about the wrong thing. It's like I've got a thorn in my big toe. Well, your fucking hair is on fire. That thorn in your toe doesn't matter. Your hair is on fire, right? So we don't need to worry about personal credit. Personal credit's fluid. We can address it. We've got the legal team. We've got the credit suite program. Don't worry about credit. Credit's not the barrier. The barrier is, do they have a fundable business? And of course, not all sources of capital look at personal credit. All right. Chris says he'd like to get a landing page, and that's fine. So we've answered that, Chris. How do you get a landing page? You text us 903-347-8042. This is not a number that's answered live. Some people will call this number bad. That's not the number that we answer live. It's 903-200-8781. We have a team of receptionists that answers the live number, but I'm not encouraging to call that number. I'm encouraging you to text. So if you want the landing page and the package, text us, Chris, and we'll get that to you. All right, let's see. Chris asked if this is the same as before. I don't know. If you have a landing page already, Chris, you're probably ready to go. I don't know, but you would probably know if you have a landing page. All right. Carlos is asking about the credit sweep. So yes, Dr. Smith is including the credit sweep in her contract. So she's adding that in and building that into the price. So that's what I was mentioning down here on number 3. Carlos, you and everyone else, you either get the editable agreement from us to edit yourself and send to clients, or you can use the RMP. We'll make the edits and we'll build it into your drip campaign, and we'll also give you the EContract link directly. If you want to include credit sweep in your proposition, you certainly can. It's not part of the deliverables, right? Because Carlos, you're one of the smartest guys I know. All of you are near Mensa. So, if you don't understand what's included in the fundable Shelf Corp, you need to read the agreement, right? Because the agreement has an Exhibit E that clearly states, here's what's included. So I never, ever, ever want to hear from anyone, well, I don't know what's included in the package. Look at the agreement. Now, also, we have the flyer that we went through in painful detail yesterday. It tells you what's included. We also put together that comparison sheet we went through in painful detail yesterday. It tells you what's included. But ultimately, look at the agreement and the deliverables are listed. Now, if you want to add to the deliverables, like Dr. Smith did, she added credit sweep in, you're welcome to do that. You can add free tax prep, free legal consultation, free prostate massages, whatever you want to add, Carlos. You tell us what you want to put in there and we'll put it in there. Or if you're doing your own contract development, do it yourself. Okay, so hopefully that helped. What other questions does anyone have? Because we're in a great place. There's a huge demand for capital. Most small business owners want and need money. And the truth is, most of them don't have a fundable business. So it's not like they can just call up US Bank or Truist or Wells Fargo or Bank of America and get the money on their own. They usually don't have a fundable business. So what you and I do is we first solve that problem. We get them a fundable business. And then as we talked about yesterday, then phase 2, then we can go ahead and move forward and getting them funding. If they're going to use our funding service, we guarantee, we promise, it's in writing. I love when the word scam comes up, right? Scams are not in writing. Scams are not legal, real contracts. I'll tell you this, 9 times out of 10, if you ever hear a person say the word scam, it means that they're financially illiterate because it's this gap of knowledge. So what you and I do, it's legal, it's ethical, it's in writing, but if they don't understand it, like I could tell you, well, Elon Musk is planning on putting a person on Mars. Oh no, that's a scam. Well, I mean, that's literally what he's working on. Maybe you disagree. So, a lot of times when people don't understand something, if they don't have the education or experiences you have, it's easier for them to just dismiss it. But what we need to do instead is to educate them. Sure, we can help anyone have a fundable business. And then once they have a fundable business, we can help anyone raise capital. And we promise to do that. We guarantee to do that. It's in writing. There's no risk to the client. But education is key. So hopefully you can help educate them. And we've got the tools. And that's the beauty. If you're using the RMP, the drip marketing is going to drip to them these snippets of educational material so you don't have to carry that burden. If you're not going to do this, then you or someone in your team is going to need to educate them because most people don't know what you know. All right. CI ask about the funding. So again, the funding is 10%. We charge the clients 10%. We've covered that. And that's entirely paid out to the field. 5% to the reseller/grant coordinator that enrolled the client, and then 5% override. If you think 10% is too much to pay, then you can discount it as you wish. All right, let's see. And correct, Jay, of course, when we're transferring an entity, the Shelf Corp, it's coming clean. Of course, we're not going to load someone up for failure, so it's coming clean. It's not coming to them with any debts or liens or problems. Of course not. Of course not. That wouldn't be ethical. I guess it'd be legal, but it's not ethical. So of course not. It's going to come to them clean. So sometimes, I mean, any question is a good question, but if you can get of the mindset, we are here to help people have a fundable business and then get funding. And we're here to help distribution partners make an adult income by doing the prior, by helping people. All right. Let's see. Jay asked, when we transfer the Shelf Corp, which we need about 7 days, which we've covered that at nauseum, then it's transferred to them, and then it's their business. It's in their name. They're 100% owner. Jeff says his credit's gone down to a 328. Wow. To be honest with you, Jeff, I did not know credit scores could get that low. He says, I can't get help with food, fuel, or anything now. Well, I'm sorry about that, Jeff. But the good thing is, well, credit's probably not keeping you from buying food. Money's probably keeping you from buying food. So if you need help with money, man, we can fix that in a heartbeat, right? So you can become a grant coordinator reseller, Jeff. Cost you zero. Cost you zero. We'll get you set up normally within 24 hours, and you can start making money right away. A lot of people get this mindset, I need to go get a job. I need to go get a job. Well, do you? Or do you need to earn income? You can earn great income as a grant coordinator reseller, spend no money, and earn a great income. So he says he's going to become homeless and lose everything. Well, sorry about that, Jeff, but you control it, right? You're a smart guy. Go solve someone else's problem, sell a good or a service and make money. And if you don't have a good or a service to sell, then maybe consider becoming a grant coordinator. It doesn't cost anything, solve people's problems, and that's what we train you on. All right. Well, with that being said, we've covered a lot. Jeff, you'll be in our prayers, but most importantly, Jeff, go take action. If you ever, any of you, run into someone that's down on their luck, empower them, right? People don't want handouts. I mean, we could offer to send Jeff right now $10,000, and he's too proud. He's not going to accept a gift of 5 or 10,000. People don't want gifts. They want tools, resources, especially entrepreneurs. This is not the welfare mindset. So you can let them know, hey, we can get you a free Shelf Corp so you can have a fundable business. Then we can take you to business funding, and we guarantee a minimum of 100,000. Sure, you want more. Sure, 100,000 is an insult to you. We can go after more, but we'll guarantee in writing 100,000. There's just no reason not to execute. The model is, I would say, perfected. If you don't have a landing page, I encourage you to use one. We've talked about how to get one, how to get the waiver, and what's included. And this adds override income and back-end income. And the back-end income is really passive, right? Most people that are wealthy will tell you passive income is crucial because you don't want to always have to be trading an hour of work to get an hour of pay. Well, we're doing all the work. Once you bring the client in, you put in 0%, zero time and effort, energy cost, and we're taking that client, getting them set up with a fundable business, and then getting them funded. And if you're making 5% of 100,000, that's 5,000 on the back end for doing nothing. But a lot of clients want more and get more than 100,000. So you can be making a lot of money, and this is passive. And if you're of that team builder mindset, some of you are, some of you aren't, then you can earn overrides. All right, but with that being said, text us if there's anything we missed, 903-347-8042. Have a great day, and we'll see you back tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.